two clips I want to play first about with Bernie. This was the only exchange with Biden that Bernie had that was, basically, I wouldn't say an attack on Biden, but to some extent an attack. And Bernie and Warren still studiously, it appears, are attempting to not attack Joe Biden. And which leads me to believe that they both believe that Biden will fade. And they don't want to alienate his voters, presumably older African Americans who are a big part of Joe Biden's base of support. And there may be a sense that older voters, and just older voters in general, right? I mean, Bernie's not doing great with older voters as well. Warren is looking for those from Biden. And I suspect they feel that older voters get a little bit put off by attacks. That's why you've seen what happened to Kamala Harris, what happened to Castro. But this is the one instance where I think Bernie could not help himself. Warren has stuff in the chamber for Biden when the time comes, I think. But I don't know if she'll ever unleash it. But here is Bernie.
For a total of 4 months. 4 months. Where do you get the rest? Where does it come from?
Two things.
Senator Sanders, respond.
In two ways. Joe, you talked about working with Republicans and getting things done. But you know what you also got done, and I say this as a good friend. You got the disastrous war in Iraq done. You got a bankruptcy bill, which is hurting middle-class families all over this country. You got trade agreements like NAFTA and PNTR with China done, which have cost us 4 million jobs. And let's get to Medicare for all. Let's be honest. We spend twice as much per person as do the people of any other major country on earth. And the answer is, if we have the guts, and I would like to see the Democratic Party have that guts, to stand up to the drug companies and the insurance companies and tell them that the function of health care is to guarantee care to all people, not to make $100 billion in profit. If we stood together, we could create a great.
All right, and that last part and Bernie pivots to it quite quickly after basically saying, Joe Biden, you've gotten some stuff done with Republican stuff that you shouldn't be very proud of. He pivots to the appeal that he made multiple times throughout the night, and we will we'll play a clip of that in a moment. He appeals to Democrats to sort of take a position on this. Let's be the party that is for guaranteeing everyone health care. Guaranteeing means not only can you not lose it, it's there, regardless of if you have $20 in your pocket or not. And that was the theme that Bernie hit multiple times. Here is one of those moments where Bernie Sanders in the night basically, again, calls on the Democrats there to stop messing around and just go for the gold. Like, why? There is no reason to believe there's a single plan being offered by anybody on that stage who has, the chances of getting any of it passed through a Republican-controlled Senate. And so if the bottom line is we're going to have a Democratic House and a Democratic Senate and a Democratic president to pass this, whatever plan it is, then the question becomes, which Democrats are going to stand in the way and why? There is no great constituencies out there for people who don't want free at point of service health care. There's no constituency out there that is like, I want the ability to fill out forms and send it in. Now, if you're very wealthy, you probably don't do that. You probably hire somebody to do it, or your assistant does it. I don't know who does it. here's Sanders basically calling on the entire stage of folks to embrace this just on a moral level.
Senator Sanders, do you want to
Okay,
respond?
I get a little bit tired, I must say, of people defending a system which is dysfunctional, which is cruel. 87 million uninsured, 30,000 people dying every single year, 500,000 people going bankrupt. For what reason? They came down with cancer. I will tell you what the issue is here. The issue is whether the Democratic Party has the guts to stand up to the healthcare industry, which made $100 billion in profit, whether we have the guts to stand up to the corrupt, price-fixing pharmaceutical industry, which is charging us the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs. And if we don't have the guts to do that, if all we can do is take their money, we should be ashamed of ourselves.
Thank you.
It was so good. So much clarity.
The only thing missing from that, and it is a little bit nitpicky, is the hospitals, which remains a big problem.
A little bit nitpicky.
I mean, from a policy standpoint, I mean it's hugely important. But from a rhetorical standpoint, I mean I think like we all get the picture, right? There are people who are profiteering off of the misery of other human beings. They're just doing it in the guise of being a hospital. And they're doing it in the guise of investor-owned hospitals more often than not. And they're doing it for the purposes of maximizing shareholder value. And so they are immiserating people. They are putting them in bankruptcy. They are keeping them insecure. We also know, I should know, our employee-based health insurance is a way of controlling their employees. Because, the big riddle is like for years, back in 2008, 2004, 5, 6, 7, 8, you'd hear all the time, whenever healthcare came up, you would hear some figure like $2,300 of every car that comes off of GM's lot. It's paying for the healthcare of retirees or something, whatever it was, some healthcare plan. And so you would think that private business would be the first in line to say, yeah, like even if I'm paying as a business, even if I'm paying the same amount in taxes, maybe if I'm even paying a little bit more in taxes than I would in that healthcare, the administrative costs of all that would be much easier for me to deal with. I would save money because the reality is they probably would save money, these businesses. But that's not the only value proposition for them in this. It is also that they basically have leverage over their workers. We see it in the GM strike. And you see it all the time. Like, you want to leave this job? You don't want to get paid? Good luck. Hope your kid stays healthy. Be a real shame if something happened to your kid.
Sick kid.
And so that is a big part of this. But there's no reason why the people on that stage couldn't be supporting this stuff. They want to differentiate themselves, and it's a little bit appalling. But I guess it's just a part of what you have to do. And I love the fact that Joe Biden in that first, like as soon as Bernie said, like, we're defending these people, and he sort of smiles.
Yeah.
And then he realizes, like, he's talking about people dying, not being covered. I should
not
not
at a Comcast fundraiser.
I noticed that too. Let's watch that again.
Senator Sanders, do you want to
I
respond? And then
get
we're
a
coming
little
to you.
bit tired, I must say, of people defending a system which is dysfunctional, which is cruel. 87 million uninsured, 30,000 people
I didn't
dying
understand why
every
Joe
single
Biden
year.
did that. It was
Joe
very
Biden's just like, yeah, coffee shop talk. Hey, look at the hippie over here. He wants to defend people. Ha! Oh, I guess I'm not at a Verizon fundraiser.
All of his
All
hands are
right.
like, Joe,
Yeah, exactly.
cover your mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
Hide those
Hunter's in the
blazing,
back like,
blinding
Dad, I
Trumpers.
can't.
Now-
Hunter's in the back like, Dad, I gave up an awesome Chinese deal to do this, man. Don't blow it. It's a lot of money, bro.
Right, exactly.
Come on, don't laugh at the people dying. I know he's a stupid old hippie, but you're on stage, Dad. Oh, it's my brother's wife. Awesome.
I mean, and Joe Biden did come out yesterday and say that his family has agreed not to take any jobs on foreign boards if he becomes president. And
you better get me something back on Amtrak,
Only
Dad.
Well, that's
if
the whole
he
You're leaving
becomes
a lot of
president.
money
That's
on
the
the
point.
table.
what are they? They're not going to have to travel to Ukraine at that point.
Is
'cause they can just stay on any
Exxon,
company,
is Exxon
American
made in
companies.
America?
Let me be,
again?
hey, Dad. Let me be your Jared.
Hey, Dad. Dad, what about Budweiser? Dad.
Meanwhile,
Can I do Coke in the White House, though?
Meanwhile,
Leaving a lot of money on the table, bro.
Hunter is, I think, my age.